Alright, today we are going to talk about quantity conversions. Now that we've reviewed your equivalents, you should be able to take those equivalents that you know and apply them into different situations with reducing or doubling a recipe without actually reducing and doubling like you did in Culinary Basics. This is taking more of like an individual recipe and then converting it so it can be made in bulk, like for Javachino or something like that. So within this PowerPoint presentation demo I'm going to do for you, we are going to cover recipe conversions, converting total yield, and then also converting the portion size essentially. And I'll kind of explain it to you as you're going. So follow along with your little guide sheet. Alright, so the first step is converting your yield. Now there's a very simple problem or a formula that you're going to use in almost every single problem that we give you. It is divide your new yield by old yield, and it gives you what's called this conversion factor. So the step is written right out for here. Divide the desired new yield by the recipe old yield to obtain your conversion factor. Now it's going to be different in every problem, so it's very important that you're actually reading your recipe. Now to do this, so you have your you're going to be looking for that new yield, and then whatever the problem is asking you, and then you're going to be looking for that old yield. It's usually like at the top or whatnot, and then you're going to take that conversion factor, step 2, and you multiply your conversion factor by each old quantity in the actual recipe, and then that gives you your new quantity based off whatever your new yield is. Now, if you're like asking yourself, okay, I'm confused, let's put this in an actual problem, and that will probably help break it down for you. Alright, so now let's apply our formula. So let's remember new, I'm going to write it down here, new divided by old equals CF, and you remember your CF as your conversion factor. And the best way to remember this is just know, N over O, and then that's your conversion factor. Okay, so here's our little problem. You're making apple fritters, okay? So this past 4th of July parade, a vendor was selling these apple fritters. Apple fritters are like donuts, essentially. They were thinking they would bring in at least 400 customers. Figuring that each customer would get one fritter, what conversion factor did the vendor use to increase the recipe? So here's their original recipe. They want to now make 400 apple fritters, figuring that each customer is going to get one. So let me set this up for you. Okay. So it's new over old, so 400. So that's our new yield. That's how many we want to make. Our old yield is 100. That's how many our recipe originally makes. So 400 divided by 1 would be your conversion factor, would be 4. Okay? So then what you would do is your conversion factor at this point, you're going to take it and you're going to multiply it by each individual amount. So you just go 6 times 4, 1 pint times 4, and so on down the line. So what I want you to do before you move on is stop the video here and then actually calculate this on your own. So so now at this point you should have finished your multiplication of the original recipe amounts times your conversion factor of 4. So you should have your answers, just compare them to mine. Now, the first one, eggs, very simple, 6 times 4, 6 eggs times 4 of your conversion factor, you're going to get 24 eggs. Perfect, you don't have to do anything with that. Now for milk, this is where a lot of you are going to have your discrepancy, because a lot of students are going to take that original recipe amount of 1 pint times by 4, and they're going to put down that the answer is 4 pints. Now, is that correct? Yes, it is correct. However, it is not the simplest form of measurement. So you're going to convert that to 2 quarts. To do that, you have to kind of think of your equivalents. You know that 1 quart equals 2 pints, so you're just going to kind of take that and adjust it to your 2 quarts. Okay, just like so. Your flour, 4 pounds, perfect. Now, baking powder. Again, a lot of the students are going to put down 4 tablespoons. Well, you have to kind of do your math again. You should know that 1 tablespoon times 4, it's going to be your 4 tablespoons, but it's equivalent to a 1/4 cup. This is going to be a lot faster to measure because it's 1 individual 1/4 cup rather than your tablespoon 4 times. Okay? Moving on, your salt. 1 teaspoon times 4, you're going to get 4 teaspoons. Well, again, you need to remember that there are 3 teaspoons and 1 tablespoon. So you're going to convert that 1 tablespoon plus 1 teaspoon. Again, you're using 2 different measuring spoons, but it's a quicker form rather than using the 1 teaspoon 4 times. Okay, so it's quicker. Then your sugar, this is going to be measured with your scale. 2 ounces times 4, it's just a basic 8 ounces. Make sure it's 8 ounces. Sometimes students will be like, oh, 8 ounces is a cup. No, unless you want to make sure you're keeping it in its units, like in regards to ounces. Then you have your cinnamon, a half teaspoon times 4. You're going to get 2 teaspoons. You can leave that as is. And then your apples, just basic 4 pounds. Okay? If you have questions at this point, make sure that you consult with your teacher. Alright, so now we're going to talk about actually converting your portion size. Now this still has to do a little bit with your conversion factor formula, but you're going to kind of have to take it back a couple of notches. So to do this, you're going to look at your recipe, and you're going to, your original recipe, you're going to determine the total yield of the existing recipes by multiplying the number of portions by the portion size, okay? So to do that, your original portions is essentially your yield, if you can see this, okay? Whether it's new, old, whatever. So your original portions is whatever your yield is. Then you're going to times that by your portion size, and that's going to give you your old yield, okay? Now, that's part 1. That's when you're looking at the old original recipe, okay? Then the next thing you're going to do is you're going to look at your other recipe, the recipe now that you want to make. Determine the total yield desired by multiplying the new number of portions by the new number, or by the new portion size. Now remember, portion size is going to be, in most cases, it's going to be in ounces. Most of the recipes that we're going to give you, it's going to be in ounces. So that's essentially what you're looking for. Now, if the recipe doesn't give you a total portion size, then you're not going to be able to actually calculate it out. But all the problems that we give you, it will have a portion size. Okay? Then what you're going to do is you're going to take what you learned in the old sides, you're going to obtain the conversion factor. Now to do that, you'll have your new yield, and then your total old yield, and it's going, now at this point it's going to be in ounces, and then that's going to give you your conversion factor. Take your conversion factor and multiply it by each quantity, or each ingredient quantity, and then you'll have your new quantities. Now, again, oh my God, what am I supposed to do? Let's put this into perspective for you. I'm going to be right back. So let's apply the formula using these portion sizes. So the original recipe for marinated London broil, which is like steak, yields 6 servings, and each serving is 8 ounces, okay? However, you're having a dinner party, and you need to serve 20 people, and you don't want to spend that much money. So you're actually going to reduce the size of the meat down to only 5 ounces. So originally it was 8 ounces, now you can convert it down to 5 ounces. So how the heck are we going to do this? Alright, so here's your formula. Step 1. Your original portion, okay, so our original portion was 8 ounces, okay, which I have right here, times, alright, so now let's actually apply this formula so you understand what we're doing. So here's a little scenario for you. The original recipe for marinated London broil, which is steak, yields 6 servings, and each serving is going to be 8 ounces. That's how that's what that dash means. 6 servings, and each serving is 8 ounces. However, now we're having a dinner party, and we need to serve 20 people. That's going to be our new yield, 20 people. And we're going to give them smaller portions of only 5 ounces because we don't want to spend that much money. Okay? So how are we going to apply this with our formulas? Okay. So you're going to take your original portion times your original portion size, and that's going to give you your total old yield. Okay? So I did that for you right here. 6 servings, because our original recipe made 6 servings. Each serving, each size of the steak is 8 ounces. So our total old yield is 48 ounces. Okay? So that's our old yield. Alright? So you're just going to remember that. You're going to use it in a minute. Alright? Now, you have to do this with your new. What do we want now? So we said we're going to have 20 people over. We don't want to spend as much money, so we lowered our portion size. So doing essentially the same exact thing, but with your new desired portion. So 20 is our new portion size, because that's how many people we're making it for. We're giving them a smaller amount, 5 ounces. So you're just going to take 20 times 5, and it gives you your total new yield of 100 ounces. Okay? So when we're dealing with portion size, essentially you're putting both new and old yield into ounces, rather than just keeping a regular number. Okay? Next, you're going to actually put it into the conversion factor formula. Total new yield divided by your old yield equals your conversion factor. So here we did that. Our total new yield was 100 ounces as we calculated. And then our total old yield was 48. When we divide that, you get 2.8. We just left it at a flat 2. Okay? Okay, now what you're going to do is on your next slide, you have a chart. I want you to apply your conversion factor by multiplying it by each original amount. We'll be right back. Alright, so here are the answers I've come up with, and I hope you have the same ones. So you're just going to take your original ingredient amounts and times them by your conversion factor of 2. So 4 fluid ounces times 2 is 8. Same thing that was for the olive oil, same thing for your balsamic vinegar. Now for your rosemary. Again, most students are going to take 2 tablespoons times 2, and you're going to write down 4 tablespoons. You want the quickest route of measurement, so it's going to save you time. So instead of taking the tablespoon and going 1, 2, 3, 4, you can just convert that into a quarter cup. That's just 1 measuring utensil, and you're done. Okay? So that's for your rosemary. Garlic, 2 ounces times 2, just basic 4. Black pepper is just going to be 2 teaspoons. And then for your flank steak, you originally had 3 pounds times 2, so you're going to have 6 pounds now. Okay? So, next, if you have questions, please consult with your teacher. The next thing is you're going to do one more practice problem. Okay? And you're going to do this one kind of on your own, and then we'll go back and talk about it. The scenario is, in the next Food Network Star Challenge, the contestants had to prepare veal marsala. All they had was a recipe that yielded 6 7-ounce servings. However, they need to serve a panel of judges, 7 judges, and they only need to give sample size portions of 3 ounces. Use your formulas to configure what recipe amounts the contestants used. Alright? Okay, so you're going to do that right now, and then we'll be right back. Okay, so you should have probably, gotten a good start on this. If you didn't, please make sure you're listening, and if you did get it, just make sure you're listening so you have the right answers. So I kind of highlighted the basic of the information that I'm going to need to actually calculate this problem. So my original recipe was it yields 6, and it was 7-ounce portions. And my new, I only need 7, I now need 7 portions, and they're each going to be 3 ounces. So I kind of calculated this out, or I did calculate this out on the next page for us. Sorry, still learning this bad boy. Alright, so applying the formulas. Step 1, you're going to calculate your total old yield. So I did that. 6 servings was our old yield. Each serving was 7 ounces, so just basic multiplication, 42 ounces. Now we're going to do your new yield. We're only serving the judges, so we now need 7 portions, but they're sample size portions, so 3 ounces. So 7 times 3 is 21 ounces, so that's our total new yield that we're making for the judges. And then step 3, you're going to find your conversion factor. Remember, new over old equals CF. Okay? So 21 is our new, 21 ounces is our new, divided by 42 ounces, which is our old yield, and that gives you 0.50. That is your conversion factor. And what you're going to do with that conversion factor is you're going to multiply it by each original ingredient amount, and it gives you your new amount. So we did that here. So veal scallops, you needed 3 ounces of each. So your old quantity was 12 times 0.5, which is your conversion factor. And then essentially you're dividing this in half. So it's 6. For the salt and pepper, a half teaspoon of each. Flour, 1 cup times 0.5, half cup. Clarified butter, 1 ounce. Originally 2. Olive oil, 1 ounce. Dry marsala, which would be 3 fluid ounces, originally 6. And then veal brown stock, which is 2. And then for your whole butter, 1 ounce. Again, essentially you just reduce this in half. If you have any questions, please make sure you consult with your teacher. And we are done. Thank you.